Hi there, unlearners. Welcome to this episode of the Unlearners podcast. It's myself, Zanele Njapa, the Unlearning Lady, and what a pleasure it is to welcome you to this episode of the podcast. Now, we've officially kicked off season 3. Definitely one of my favorite seasons so far before season 4 that kicks off at the beginning of 2025. Now, I'm so excited for today's conversation because I get to host someone who is a peer, a friend, someone I deeply admire. I think when you and I found each other, I was like, oh my goodness, this is destiny. So I can't wait to introduce you to our community of unlearners that probably some of them know you, maybe some of them don't, but also to have the conversation that we're going to have today, because season 3 has been the unpacking around unlearnings that happen in various industries, but also for individuals to understand that the journeys around transformation are so similar, because oftentimes we look at one industry and we look at another and we think, oh my goodness, they couldn't be more different from each other. And then we discover down the line, oh my goodness, actually the lessons are the same. The leadership styles that we need are the same, but also the kinds of people that we need to be, almost these transformative leaders, is also very similar. So I'm really excited, unlearners, to introduce you today to Captain, and I'm going to make sure I say that, Captain Londy Ngcobo. And Captain Londy Ngcobo is also known as the Blaqmermaid. She is the founder of Global Maritime Youth. And today she's going to have a conversation with us about the ocean's economy, just the key insights around it, but also why it's important for you and I to pay close attention and some of the big unlearnings in the industry.
The Unlearners. Learn, change. Learn, change. The Unlearners. The Unlearners. The Unlearners. Learn, change, grow.
Londy,
Aloha.
Sisi.
Thank you. Finally.
Yay!
I was meant to be on season 1.
Come
Just
on.
saying.
Just putting it out there.
But it needed to be season 3. And I am so grateful. I'm so happy we found finally time to connect. And I finally got to speak to the unlearners. I appreciate this time, and let's just make it what it will.
And you yourself are an unlearner. And I think that's one of the things that I absolutely adore about you and your journey. And you and I will have these conversations on the side, outside of the world, where you're like, I'm changing, this is happening, I'm growing. And I want you to start there. I'd like you to give, oh my goodness, this could go so many places. And I'm getting so excited thinking about it.
I'm also excited, like I'm waiting for the question.
I'd like you to start off just by telling us a little bit about your journey towards becoming Africa's very first female dredge master. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And what did it mean for you?
Yeah. Interestingly, a question that I would expect often would be from childhood. And I love that you started from there, because you're black, you can't swim. What if you die? You barely have a sizable bathtub in your home.
Yeah.
What makes you think you can captain a whole ship? You know? So the upbringing starts at, like, you know, just a white canvas of a kid wanting something unique. Umpapiosi.
Yes.
Some would say umamnebhesi. You know? It's so interesting. And then realizing that actually in my teen stages, I realized, okay, I'm starting to believe in horoscopes. Okay, I'm a Pisces. And then landing into this maritime studies, you know, and then unfolding it to saying, okay, we want people with good maths and science, and there's something called maritime studies. And I'm like, okay, what's this all about? Going back home to telling my parents, there's this subject called maritime studies, and it's in the township. It's Tengile. Where do you even, who do you even think you are? To think you can navigate a ship. So I think connecting it from as back as age 15, being a Pisces, and saying, I actually belong in the ocean. So it starts from there, connecting it within the class, furthermore to varsity, doing maritime studies, and then starting to just paint the picture up to saying, hey, one day I will navigate a ship. And little did I know at the time that having been a high achiever all my childhood, a high achiever, when we said, "Kiamotelo," I'm there.
Yeah.
Debating, I'm
All the
there.
things.
You know, casino, I am there. suddenly coming to this big ship, meeting so many different cultures, differing cultures,
Yeah.
you are nothing. Where is this high achiever now? You are now on this ship and you are nothing. Who do you think you are? Like, you're an African girl. What are you here for? You know?
Maybe let's double click into that thing.
Yeah.
So I want to go there because oftentimes when we come to a journey of transformation, often people will use the phrase, you can't be what you can't see. And you have now painted a picture for me where this was probably one of the least likely areas, least likely industries, least likely role that you would ever play. So talk to me about what it is. So there's definitely the star sign that's playing there, but what was it really that you went, oh, that's what it looks like? Or do you have to just create it?
Create it, very much so. Not having a swimming pool to begin with is a barrier, so that you can't dream of working in mass waters, you know? Furthermore, not having seen it being done. We had the Titanic to watch.
Yeah.
And you can't imagine now saying, this is the Titanic, I will captain a ship. People die there, you know? And the only person that is actually, you know, interesting would be Jack and Rose. So that means that's a love story. Where's a career in that, you know? So very much limiting conditions. So for me, I think the day I went for a school excursion, hence Global Maritime Youth, the excursion and seeing a big ship horning coming inside the harbor and realizing, hey, why there's so many containers, you know? And then a lady coming through and says, no shopping, no shipping, no shopping. So I think for me, that was it. Went on an excursion and I realized there's these big ships. And I do have good maths and science, so maybe there's something there. So that to me just opened doors that I didn't think existed.
So let's go into that, into the industry a little bit more. Because I really do want our unlearners to walk away from this, not only with an understanding around you and the phenomenal human you are, but also an understanding around the oceans economy. You use that beautiful phrase, no shipping and no shopping. That's the very first time I've heard that, but I want to go into it. Talk to us about what that means, because that's profound. No shipping, no shopping. What's that all about? And how does the oceans economy then become something each and every person, regardless of where they are, needs to start leaning into?
I think maybe just 2 steps back would be, then she joined the industry. Then she went to varsity. Then she joined the ship and felt very much alienated until she started to build, or rather maybe unpeel, what seemed to be many layers of the industry, very traditional industry, lots of high walls that no one can break, and then realizing, hey, actually, there's only just a few in it that look like me. So how can we unlock in order to make sure that we multiply? So now I have the answers. So what does it look like? Now Sis Londy knows. Because after becoming Africa's first female dredge master, I then realized there's a lot of noise around, tell us more. Hence today, it's been 10 years since I've been Africa's first female dredge master, and the question still comes to, what does it look like? What is it? So I want to answer the question with saying, it's what we've made it to be. But who? The people that have walked the walk. And I find myself having walked the walk to realize that actually, no shopping, no shipping. The shoes that you wear today, the makeup that comes from, the sheen that we order, the earrings that we wear, everything comes in ships. And we are so busy, especially in South Africa, Durban rather, is the busiest harbor in the whole of Africa. So what does that mean though to a child sitting in the township and wanting something unique? I've had to build or break the walls and saying, if you don't have good maths and science, you're most likely not going to be Captain Londy Ngcobo, but you can be a DJ on board the ship. But you can be a makeup artist on board the ship. But you can be a supplier on ships. And you can do whatever that you do on land, you can merge it with the ship. hence unlocking oceans economy. That is my true mission now, in saying, how can I make sure that I multiply? How can I make sure that I have been the first, but not the only? And I think that's where it is. Oceans economy is welcoming. Oceans economy is for everyone.
Yeah.
When they say bring back our land, I say the ocean belongs to us too. And I've had to make it inviting.
Yeah.
And I've had to walk it possible. So in a nutshell, what opportunities are there?
Yeah.
Unlimited. It's hard to even unpack one.
Yeah.
But let me make an example. When we speak of agriculture, and now we see people that are so focused and so loving agriculture, they're grooming chicken. We've got something called aquaculture, which means you can groom fish at your backyard. When we speak of tourism, there's a lot of students that sit to tourism, and we speak, Tina, of coastal and marine tourism. So the merging of careers says, don't close your eyes out to the ocean. Open it up. Everything belongs to us. So that's been pretty much the mission.
And it's sounding to me like a big part of your work, especially whether it's the facilitation, the keynotes that you do as well, that I know is a big part of your work.
Yeah.
A lot of it probably is just walking people through an unlearning process first.
Yes.
Just to shift some perspectives. What are you finding is probably some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about the oceans economy?
So maybe not the oceans economy alone, but male-dominated industries overall. Because as you can imagine, when you watch the Titanic, there's Captain Phillips, and there's other pirate attack ship movie. It's predominantly male.
Yeah.
And so there's no picture to say, Black African women can navigate ships. And unfortunately, that's led to only 2% of female participation of a female workforce in seafaring. And so then it raises the challenge to say, how are we making sure that actually people know about it? People know about the industry. So I think that the misconceptions, number one, with African people is that of, I'm Black, I can't swim. And unfortunately, it's been limiting. And we go to these comedy shows, I'm Black, I can't swim, and we laugh. But it's been very limiting. So even take that as a joke. So my mission now has been with, it's not funny.
Oh, I like that.
It's not funny. And my mission now is saying, when we say it's predominantly males, what am I doing to make sure that it's not it tomorrow? So I have been on a mission to live outside the habits and just rather live more on the intention, and even with my industry, it's that, so and so, it's been like this for years. No, but women this, and no, but and that conviction in me in saying, yes, it's interesting when we're sitting and just saying, in 1992, in so and so. But what am I doing to advise the change? And I think that's what has been my mission. So now I know that the 2% is increasing. Now I know that some kids will not find it funny when you say they can't swim because Sis Londy is here. She didn't have the A, B, and C's, but she was able to walk it. So the misconceptions are there, but I love to sit on the positive. I love to sit on unlocking oceans economy. And that's where I'm leaning towards the most.
And are you finding with those misconceptions that those are across the global sort of paradigm that you do work not just in South Africa. So are you finding that internationally as well, it's those very same almost challenges that you need to speak to? Or let's say, for example, if you are in a country in Europe, for example, you're having to speak to the same misconceptions, or is the conversation different altogether when it comes to what you do?
It's different to a certain degree. A Black man can't swim is only South African African thing. As some. But the male-dominated, the industry being predominantly male, is global. So I've had to navigate that cautiously as and when I find different stages and different languages and understanding the demographics of that platform. But I also do find a common and palpable positive shift. In that it's not ending at this. And I love that because I'm part of that. I'm saying, this is what we've done. What have you done? And the connections have been amazing. And that's why now it's easy to say, I can call someone from Malta and say, I've got 50 girls in South Africa, and you understand what our limitations are here. Can we merge? And global maritime youth. It's got to be global because it's a global industry. And I think the answer is there's a palpable upward shift. And I'm happy to be part of it.
Have you ever been to one of those retreats that when you come back, you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm a different person? Well, the unlearning experience is exactly one of those. Because if you go to the unlearning experience, you're not just experiencing a transformation retreat. You are literally taking 3 beautiful days, gifting them to yourself all the way from Friday up until Sunday, experiencing master classes that are powerful, workshops that will engage you. You are creating your journey and purpose for the coming year, taking stock of the year you are closing off. If you're someone who's transforming, the unlearning experience is for you. It's one of those retreats, and I'm not just saying this. This is the feedback we've received from previous retreat attendees, that the unlearning experience is life-changing. And so if you're ready for life-changing kinds of results, you're going to make sure you've got your ticket to the unlearning experience. Oh my goodness, that's giving me so many goosebumps.
I know.
As you say it.
Same.
It's
I just got that
amazing.
too.
Oh, it's amazing. And our time goes by so quickly, and I always get so
not
upset
fair.
about this. It's not fair.
fair.
But I want to go there as we close off. I want to go to the impact part of everything, because I find with people who do work that's very similar to us, where people will see us, whether it's on a podcast or it's on a stage for a keynote, but behind that, I always feel like it's a drive for a bigger impact. It's almost like we're driving a shift in consciousness that we almost will never really feel in our lifetime. And that's the thing that pushes the conversations, that wakes us up at the 4 a.m.s and whatever it is that we're doing, that really is what we're trying to drive. We're trying to shift humanity. We're trying to create a dent in the world. So I want to close off there. What is it for you that when you do the big work that you do, when you have the conversations, when you sit with the people, when you connect these young people with so much potential, to these global organizations, what is it in you that you are trying to do in this world?
There comes a time where it stops being about you. And unfortunately, because of social media, you're a personal brand before the work that you do. So you will see my face, I will see your face, but it's beyond you. And I think the stage I am in now is saying, having made my name known, certain doors open without me having to lift or press or ring a doorbell. And that's fine. That's fine. But now someone has opened the door. Who am I bringing with me? Who am I bringing with me? What is the impact? What is the intention? That's where I am. So understanding that when I go behind the mic, it's beyond me. Understanding that when I enter a certain door, it's beyond me. It's now coming through feedback. And that feedback to me is important. It says, Sis Londy, thank you for making it visible. It says, Captain, I got the deal. It says, I sat at home for 5 years and I've got this AB qualification and I looked in every door possible on land. I'm now with MSC ships. I'm now with Caribbean cruises. I'm now with this, and that's the impact. And that's the shift that says, I'm a man in the arena. I'm making it possible. I'm making it visible, and there's impact. So unfortunately, I do come from an industry that is very much traditional, that is very much old. But with opening it up to the youth, it's so exciting.
Really?
It's been so exciting because they bring these innovations. They're not even captains, but they call themselves captains. You know what I mean? Like, you don't say that. You know, you don't just claim captaincy. Interestingly, as we also wear our professional hats within the industry, I've found a calling in unlocking captaincies in people's lives.
Yeah.
I'm able to now saying, as a woman who wants to see a shift and claim your captaincy in your life, I've got tools.
I like that.
I've had it hard. I have sat with man. I have been stripped to nothing. And I've had to rebuild myself and shape myself up and claim my captaincy.
Yeah.
And I've got tools for that. So I'm happy to be able to say, I'm a Sis Londy. I'm also Captain Londy. I'm also a friend. So answering what I'm trying to do, I'm helping society. I'm helping individuals captain their destinies, whether it's within the maritime space, unlocking oceans economy, finding your business within oceans economy, or in your life holistically, and saying you are the captain of your life. And yes, I think, yeah, in a nutshell, that's it.
That's it. Oh my goodness. Yes, 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 yes. So our time is now up.
No.
No. Claiming your captaincy. I think that is going to ring in my head for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah. We could go on with this. I
Yeah.
feel like we could go on.
I do want to, but yeah.
And I just always say, and one of the things that I do within the unlearning and the team at the Unlearners is, I think, very similar to that. Because if you're going to be an unlearner, it takes an element of courage.
Yeah.
And captaining your own ship and claiming your captaincy, I think, is exactly that.
Yes.
It's taking ownership and being someone who takes a stand and take control.
Yeah.
Get in there, get in the driver's seat, get things done.
And for me, it's been that. Even the title, Claim Your Captaincy, has been my journey.
Yeah.
From being a high achiever, being young,
Yeah.
to coming into this industry being literally nothing. Until I had to strip the onion and peel the onion and realize that actually they are men and they've been there for years, but there's a human and there's a heart that beats the same as me and see me again. So I've had to claim that captaincy back into my life.
Yeah.
Being Africa's first female dredge master, suddenly I'm relevant again. So suddenly I've got a voice again. And walking into different rooms, I now have my consulting firm for 4 years now. I've been back from ships and I'm running, literally navigating my own ship. So it's that claiming your captaincy back and shifting. You mentioned that we say, no, I'm changing things. I'm shifting things. It's just navigating life, realizing that you're the captain of your life and you captain your destiny.
Beautiful.
So I love the narrative, although it's cliche, but because I am, but I love the narrative of claiming your captaincy.
Beautiful. And I love the analogy you used around the peeling the onion, because at those different phases, and you even use this beautiful hand gesture, water, so it makes sense. that beautiful hand gesture, as you move through those different phases of you, you really are having to just relearn yourself every now and again and go, at this stage or at this juncture where I am right now, what is it that I just need to peel back?
Yeah.
What am I now discovering? What is this current version of myself? And I love to reflect on, I was reading around Michelangelo and his approach towards his sculptures. And apparently it turns out that when he created, for example, something like the David, he didn't go out to make the David, but he found a piece of marble that already had the David in it.
Wow.
And he says that my job as a sculptor is to just remove everything else that doesn't belong to the David.
Yes.
And I think that in essence is so much of what you're saying, wherever you are, every now and again. And this is why it's important to just check in. If you're a transforming human being, every now and again, because your circumstances are changing, maybe there's a new baby, maybe you're moving, it's always important every now and again to go, okay, what do we need to peel back?
That's it.
What layers need to go? So
you know I practice mindfulness.
Yeah.
And it's been 5 years now practicing mindfulness. And that's, to me, is it. That is, unlearning for me had to be removing the walls of what was.
Yeah.
Yo, you can't say that to that captain, or yo, you don't look him in the eye.
Yeah.
Or, unlearning for me had to go through peeling that onion to realize he's a dad. And he's just as homesick as I am. We are in this ship together. He's got a wife that's giving birth and he can't make it. I'm a child or I'm a kid that is trying to navigate life. And back home, there's my mom worried whether I'll come back home alive. So it's been that. And with everything, Zanele, it's been that. It's saying, what is the concept? What's the narrative behind this? What's the wall in front of me? How can I break it to the next soulful thing possible so that you and I can realize that our hearts beat the same? And that to me has been, I continuously try to say, there's a wall, but there's a human behind it. And that in claiming our captaincies, I've often found that we just need to realize that we are human before the next big thing.
Anything else, right?
Yeah.
Before we are our roles, before we are our genders,
Before
our
you are
races,
the unlearning lady.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you, Londy,
Thank
for
you.
your time.
It
Hey.
just feels so short.
I know.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you and the work you are
Thank you
doing.
too.
You're such a light. Every single time I'm around you, I can just feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel that you're doing more than what anyone can see. Even though it
Appreciate
probably
that.
it does look like you're doing a lot already. So I think you're doing so much more than
I
that.
appreciate
Thank
you. I appreciate our
you.
times of reflection together over the phone, our times of just, unlearning, because we are in the public eye a lot as public speakers. And and I appreciate the unlearning that I've had to do through your platforms. So kudos. And feedback means a lot to me. So I also appreciate the feedback that you've just shared. Thank you.
All right, unlearners, this has been everything and a tearjerker from what you can tell. Just a phenomenal conversation with the amazing Captain Londy Ngcobo. Do go over to her social media pages. I think you are across the board. People can find you literally anywhere.
Literally.
Totally Googleable across the social media landscape. And she's doing phenomenal work. Definitely tap in, find out more, get educated, but also challenge what you think you know. Because as Mark Twain says, that it's not what you don't understand that's the problem, but it's what you think you know that isn't actually the case. So go out there, get yourself educated, and keep unlearning. It's been myself, Zanele Ngcobo, the Unlearning Lady. And thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Unlearners Podcast. Bye for now.
The Unlearners. Learn, change. Learn, change. The Unlearners. The Unlearners. Learn, change, grow.